What's up, YouTube? Poor.Mans.Podcast back with another one. I'm doing a live today. I had a debate scheduled for today, but the guy that I was doing it with, Honest Truth, he flaked out on it. Let me go ahead and turn that off. He flaked out on it for whatever reason. I assume that we're all on the same team here when we talk about Dusty, because his kind of content is along the lines of Dusty's and this and that. So I wanted to bring him over and have a little discussion about some of the facts and the statistics. And the truth is, black men are doing better. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. I'll wait for a few more people to pour in. Um, but today was interesting. For those who don't know, I am an athlete. Uh, got done with my second training today. I was going to go for the Olympic trials this year, but I probably will not because I had a back injury about a year and a half ago, and that's what really made me start doing YouTube. But so that probably took me out of Olympic trials. I am getting better though, and healing and getting healthy. What's up with you, Jay Walker? I see you. I see you in the building, man. You be all around with me. Every time I go somewhere live, I see you on there. Appreciate you. But yeah, let's get into it, man. There's a horrible narrative that's going around, and this is because I look at both sides of the coin. Okay, so and the thing that I appreciate about what goes on here on the Manosphere is at least our opinions are backed by statistics. Um, you're never really going to know. So a lot of it is just coming up with theories. But then with those theories, you have to go and back those theories up with facts and statistics. I often go into the other side to see what are their talking points. What are these guys talking about? Why do they feel like there are black men that are not held accountable and have not been held accountable? And how can we bridge that gap? Because over there is so much hatred for you. I appreciate that super chat there, Anthony Johnson. I appreciate you, brother. Um, but yeah, there's just such a disdain for black men. And throughout the week, I've been jumping on random podcasts and random shows and trying to preach the fact that black men are doing better because of the accountability that we have been taking over the past 40 years. All right. And because we have been holding each other accountable, we are doing better. Okay. From 2006 to 2018, black male imprisonment has decreased by 33%. I'm going to say that again. From 2006 to 2018, black male imprisonment has decreased by 33%. That is major. Violent crime is down 51% since 2006. But if you ask the other side, they'll say we're not doing better. Right? 57% of black men are in the middle class, but they say we're not doing better. They'll say that black women make more money than black men, and it's simply not true. Black women on average earn about $36,000 a year. Black men on average make about $43K a year. But they say we're not doing better. We have pulling ourselves out of poverty at record numbers faster than any other group in the past 50 years and get no credibility for it as black men. There was a recent study, and I want y'all to guess this number. I just got this from Kevin Samuels. It was sent to him by another brother. And if y'all have any facts or statistics that I can use in my talking points, I would definitely appreciate them because, I always like facts and statistics. I always think they're interesting, and I always double check them. But there was a recent poll done on the number of black men versus the number of black women in percentages that want relationships as of now in 20. I believe the poll was done in 2020. I'll post the poll in the description when the chat's over. How many do you think percent of black men do y'all think want a relationship? Just take some guess. Take some guess in the chat. How many black men do you think in percentages want relationships? I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all chat that out. Just give me a percent. Black men. How many do black men do y'all think want relationships according to this poll? 50, 75, 40. The number of black men that wanted a relationship in 2020 is 43. 43% of black men want a relationship. Guess how many black women want a relationship? So give me some numbers for black women now. How many black women do you think want a relationship in 2020? Waiting for some more comments. Waiting for some 3%, 25%. That's actually really close. The number is 23% of black women want a relationship in 2020. But they say the problem is black men. Black men are not ready for relationships. Black men don't want relationships. I 1 second. I'm sorry about this. 1 second. Black men have been held accountable, and I'm sorry, I'm going back on this here because this is super important. All right, you see the bridge in the gap of how many people just want relationships in general. 43% of black men want relationships. 23% of black women want relationships. So there's already showing that there's more attempts to make these things happen by the men in our communities. So saying that we're not stepping up the plate is just not true. Saying we don't care about our communities is just not true. Black men are the most likely of all male groups, okay, and I do specifically say male groups, to do community service, okay, are active in their communities. Black men are the most likely to be active in their communities. So stop saying that black men don't care about their communities. And this is specific again across men across the board. All right. So, and I believe second behind us is white men, and then I think it's eight or Latin men. I think second is white men, third is Latin men. How are black men don't love their communities though? I will say this: we are behind white women are the leaders, and then black women, I believe, are second. Okay, so black women are more active in the community than black men, but that does not mean that black men don't care. That just means that most black men are in the working class. Okay, and we have this idea that the women are doing better because there are more quote unquote black businesses. And I am going to open up this poll. I'm going to open up, or not the poll. I'm going to open up the if y'all see at the top, I should have pinned the link to get in. So we are going to open this up for call-ins for anybody that wants to debate the statistics that I have. Okay. So, but we have this idea that the backbone of our community is black women. All right. And it's just simply not true. What will they say? Well, black women are the most educated in America. And this is not to knock black women at their attempts to be better. I will never do that. I tip my hat to black women for their attempts to be better, but maybe it's misdirected. They'll say more black women black women are the most educated people in America. True to that. Okay, I'll give it. Black women have the most degrees in America, but how many people are using their degrees today? 54% of college graduates are unemployed or in a field that does not require their degree. So what did you do? You accumulated $70,000 of debt and no way to pay it off. They'll say that black women are the fastest growing group of business owners, which is true, but you have to dig into these numbers. Okay. And a lot of times when I go over to the other side and I'm reading or I'm listening to Cynthia G or the Honest Truth, the guy that I was supposed to debate today, it never happened, unfortunately. He just didn't want to do it. But they're not checking these stats. So yes, black women are the fastest group of growing business owners. All right. But they are the fastest group of 95% of black businesses are sole proprietor. Sole proprietor means they are operated by one person, one entity. Okay. They don't have any employees. 95% of black businesses are owned by sole proprietors. What is the chances of a sole proprietor business going out of business in the first year? 60%. 60% of those businesses that are new. Let's just be completely honest about this. I'm sick of seeing t-shirts. All right. I'm gonna be completely honest about this situation. I'm sick of seeing t-shirts. It's not hard to quote unquote have a business today. It's just not. And there's simply no security in it. So to say that black women owning businesses and going to college when it's shown by the data to not be effective in building long-term money, secure money, it's just not true that they're the backbone of our society. Yes, they're doing a great job. I will say that. I will not knock them for that. But the working class is what is the backbone of our community, okay? In terms of black folks in America, the working class are the backbones of that community. Who is the working class? Who are the people that go and buy the t-shirts from women that are selling them at overpriced, or just people in general that are selling them overpriced? Who are the people that can afford to go buy these things? This is what we have to look into. You have to dig into these numbers. Like I said, 95% of black businesses are sole proprietor. Sole proprietor businesses go out of business 60% in the first year. Do you know the average income of a sole proprietor business that is supposedly the backbone of our community? Y'all give me some guesses in the comments of how much you make as a sole proprietor business owner in America on average for your salary. Just give me some guesses. What do you think? All right. Black men on average make 42K. Black women on average make 46K. But go ahead and give me a number of what y'all think black women make as a sole proprietor business, as in one owner. What's the average income? 12K. $12,000 a year. 95. Now I'm gonna say these stats again because this is so important for people that don't understand that you have to cross-reference facts and double check them before you just spew them out. All right. 95% of black-owned businesses are sole proprietor. This is what is quote unquote the backbone of our community that all these big new media outlets keep putting out, and there's a whole support women business, support black women businesses. This is black. I get it, okay, and I'm not against the grind. I respect the grind, but we have to give our kudos to the people that are actually holding our community up. Like I said, black men have. Let me get the rate exactly, okay. 56% or 57% of black men have worked their way into the middle class through labor, okay, through becoming a part of the working class and being responsible. All right. Now, it's just, I'm not, like I say, I'm not knocking black women, but the fact of the matter is this: everyone is losing because we're not married, we're not together. There's too much separation. All right. Like I say, 42% of black men own or black men make 42K a year. Black women make 36K a year. This should not be competition. Why is there any virtue in saying that black women make more than black men? It doesn't, even if that was true, which it is not, by the way. There's no virtue in that. Are you getting married? Are you getting married? That's why you're losing. Are you together? Is there two households, or is there two incomes in a household? Or at least one and a half, because I believe that men should work full time and women should maybe do part time. Um, that's just my belief as far as taking care of housework. I believe that is a job, so women should be allowed some time to do that. If you expect a woman to make you a home cooked meal, you should be able to provide a little bit more on the bills. That's just how I think. I understand the situation is going to be different for everybody, but that's what I call stepping up to the plate, me personally. Okay. But we have to stop this narrative that black men have not been held accountable. Okay. All the media outlets are against black, or not even black men, just men in general. Name one show that men in general have had on television. One show. I think the only show I can say is the Man Show, and that lasted for about 2 seasons before it was kicked off because it was seen as inappropriate, even though that's how we talked. That's the only one. Typically speaking, men are at work and women are at home. Women make about 60 to 70% of consumer decisions in a household. Who do you think advertisers are going for? Women make 60 to 70% of consumer decisions in a household. Who do you think advertisers are going for? So who do you think Steve Harvey's going to pander to when he wants to sell his book? Who do you think Derek Jackson's going to pander to when he wants to sell his book? Like this is it, these man. I just had a discussion with a lady that I posted, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. First of all, it wasn't on my channel. So a lot of people was like, you should have silenced her and this and this and that. I was in a car and I was working up with like 3G. So I was just trying to get in and get out. I wasn't able to, have all my statistics and facts up because I don't like to spew out facts. There's one thing about me. I like to be accurate with what I say. I don't want to just go out and, put out anything if it's not true, because I feel responsible for that. But she said that black women have been held accountable more than black men, and I couldn't disagree with that anymore. Let's take for example, just because I did a little thing this weekend. I had some family over and we watched Baby Boy, right? Look at Baby Boy at the surface. What is the movie about? It's about a dude that ain't shit. Let's be completely honest. He ain't doing nothing. All right. He's getting women pregnant left and right. But at the end of the day, he did turn it around and he did better. So people look at that movie and say black men ain't shit, right? People look at that movie and say, what's the Jody? They'll look at the movie and say Jody ain't shit, right? They'll say that all day. But let's look at and that's us holding him accountable. Okay, public shame is holding someone accountable for their decisions. Women don't have public shame. When women get fat at 80% at an 80% obesity rate, we just go, we have to make it beautiful now. But women are accountable. Women are held accountable in our society. When women are obese at an 80% rate, we just say, let's just change it all around. It's beautiful. And if you say it's not beautiful, you're fatophobic, which is a completely made up word. All right, but let's get back to Baby Boy, right? Let's look at Yvette. Did anybody ever discuss Yvette? Did anybody say, Yvette, why are you getting pregnant, having sex with a man that is living with his mother and doesn't even have a car? Did anybody ever look at the story from that lens? No, they just said Yvette's the victim, it's the this and this and that. Why were you with him in the first place? What did he have to offer you in the first place that made you want to be with him? These are the questions we don't ask, but people will say all day that men are not held accountable and women are. They'll say men not held accountable and women are, which is just completely not true. All right, there's just no accountability for women. When I was, when I was in college, all right, when I was in college, yes, okay. Here's the thing, and this is what I see a lot. Okay, both parties need to be held accountable. Unfortunately, like I just said, I will repeat the statistics. A new poll has come up because there's new people in the audience. A new poll has come out that says that 43% of black men want relationships and only 23% of black women want relationships. Okay. So, and when I'm talking about, there's a baby mama culture in our in black in the black community, and this is killing us. Okay. I just went over to I'm not gonna say, I know a guy that is a drug addict right now, and he has 3 women pregnant. Let's go with the first one. Okay, I get it. She may have been a victim. She got tricked. She got scammed. She got shammed. I get it, right? But the next 2, what was your business getting pregnant by a man that you knew wasn't taking care of his children, and he's a drug addict? So yes, we do, and this is the point that I want to get to. We have been holding men accountable in the black community. That's why we are out at the fastest growing rate. We're coming out of poverty and into the middle class. 60% of black men are in the middle class. 57% of black men are in the middle class. That doesn't include the lower upper class and the upper class. That's just the middle class. So saying that both are accountable, I get it, right? But look at Future's situation. He got 7 baby mamas. Future has 7 baby mothers. I agree. One man in that Future situation, Future, one man is irresponsible, but you got to look at the 6 women after the first woman that was irresponsible. And I'm just using Future because he's a person that we can all relate with. He's a person we all know. Okay. He's a person we all know of, so I can use that example. But this happens in my backyard. You ain't got to go far to find a woman that's got a baby daddy that got 3 or 4 or 5 baby mamas. What are you doing laying down with a man that can't provide for his other children? Let's talk about accountability. So in the Future case, we have one man that's irresponsible, but you have 6 women that are irresponsible sexually. This is what we need to discuss. But people will swear up and down. People will swear up and down. You will never get a utopia. And I'm going to try to be a little bit more engaging with the audience. But I just want to get some points out. You can never build a utopia. And I discussed this on the thing I released. I was trying to get this across to the woman, but I couldn't mute her. I had no control. That wasn't my panel. I just clipped it from another show that I jumped on. But you can never get a utopia. What I mean by that is we can enforce self accountability, but it will never be across the board where everybody is like, I'm going to step up to the plate. There will always be shitty people. That's just the truth of the matter. All right. There will always be men that don't want to take care of their children, but we should shun these men. All right. And we should keep women accountable for who they get pregnant by so these men can't prey on them, is what y'all not understanding. Because you can't fix the rate of out of wedlock births if you have this very small minority of men going out there and just wreaking havoc. Okay. I mean, but and I agree and appreciate y'all for the congrats on the 50K. We are moving up. Yeah, we've been having some we've been going to the moon lately. All right. So I really appreciate y'all for, sticking around and being a part of it. But when I was, and let me go back to another story. When I was in school, um I was a very, very, very hard worker. I ran track, and I'll explain this to people who know anything about it. This is just brief. I ran track. I ran about an 11.2 in the 100-meter dash. Okay. Over the summer, because I was like, either I go to college on a full scholarship, or I'm not going to college because college is too expensive and my family cannot afford it. Okay. So over the summer, I went from being the second fastest person in the state of Minnesota to being the fifth fastest person in the nation in AAU track. I have a medal for it in my room. Okay. So I was a really hard worker. When I got to college, I had ripped shoes that I had ran in the last year before, because the same shoes I walk around in is the same shoes I practice in. I was the first one in practice and the last one out. My coach told me I needed to lose weight. So I ate one tuna sandwich and 3 carrots for lunch and 2 glasses of water. Okay. But what I'm trying to get to is this. I would get to practice. I had a flip phone, by the way. I would get to practice, and what did the girls care about? And at the time, I didn't really care because I'm married, by the way, for people that don't know. My wife is making dinner now. But so I'd never really cared about all this. But looking back on it now, this was a problem. People would make fun of me for my shoes, right? People would make fun of my shoes and my flip phone. But I had a car. 90% of these folks didn't have cars. Okay. So you got grown men. Well, we're all 18, 19, whatever it may be, 20, saying you're lame for having a flip phone. You know how black folks do. You just make fun of each other. It is what it is, right? But you're lame for having a flip phone. You're lame for having ripped up shoes. You're lame for trying hard, for being a hard worker. I'm cool because I got new shoes and I don't have priorities because I don't have a car. And these are the things that I say women need to pay attention to. The small details. If he's an athlete or whatever he's doing, is he the first one there and the last to leave? Okay. His drive, his determination towards a goal. These are good ways to see who you want to potentially mate with, not judging people based on their shoes. So the dudes with the nice shoes, the irony of it is they would be the ones asking me for a ride to Walmart. So they got all the nicest shoes in the world, and they asking me for a ride to Walmart. I tell them, go use your Jordans, the $300 or $250 you spent on them Jordans, use them to walk to the store. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Cooking up so hard, I started sweating. After you work out, you start getting that little afterburn. Anybody that work out a lot, I do 2-a-days now because I'm getting ready for a rugby tournament in a couple months. But anybody who works out know you get that afterburn sweat when you're done working out. But what I'm getting to is this. Okay, there was a woman on my team, or a girl on my team. She was into the guy with the nice shoes. He didn't have a car. She was into the guy with the nice shoes. He showed no desire to ever be in a relationship with her, but she was desperate. This is what she wanted to do. Started messing with this man, lost her virginity to this man, and now she's pregnant. She was the first woman to achieve NJCAA track athlete of the year. Career's done because she messed with the wrong guy. A guy that ain't got no priorities, a guy that wasn't doing much. But that's just how it happens. And then you go and blame the guy. But I mean, were you not judging the character before you mess with him? I just don't get it. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all and the congrats to the 50K, but I'm going to open up the lines. Anybody want to come in and say anything about what's going on? I'm going to post it again. Anybody got anything to say? CJ 100, I see you in there. I'm finna get you in. I see you. What's up with you, man? How you doing?
What's up, boss man? You doing all right?
I'm all right, man.
Yo, your story is a lot of men have, especially black men, had a story, man, of being the guy made fun of, um, not doing the stereotypical things that make you black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I think I think it's starting to be a change, but I think we have to understand that we have to understand it's necessary to do that if you're gonna be successful. Not like, oh, this is just a one-off story. Literally, everyone that is successful has to put the work in. And when you look at the Jody story, right, you see him basically be the stereotypical guy, but it doesn't change until he gets a man in his life that is. He might have been an old thug or whatever, but he been there and done that. And he
yeah,
was like, I'm gonna be the man to your mother, but you can't step in the way to this. And in order for you to have a better life, even though you messed it up already, the only way it's gonna change is if you put the work in. And I think a lot of people just scared to do the work, man.
yeah.
They think it's just gonna happen, and it's just, bro. These overnight stories are one in a million, and it's not gonna be you.
Don't happen that way.
Yeah, yeah,
It doesn't happen that way. I do want to open a line for people that's going to debate me on certain topics, bro. So
yeah. Okay,
I
okay.
appreciate you for coming in and showing love, man. But let me go ahead and go on, get to the next person, see if they going got something to debate me about.
All right, for sure.
All right, bro. All right, anybody in? Y'all want to do? Anybody want to debate? Any naysayers? All right, because every time I post a video, and I'm gonna keep posting this link. Every time I post a video, I got all these naysayers, all these people that want to hear the facts and the quotes and the statistics and this and this and that. Where y'all at? Go ahead and debate me. Change my mind. And because I am what I like to call myself a quote unquote free thinker. So if presented with new information, my ideas will change. What's going on is a lack of unity. Okay. At the we have women that think in our community that they're better than the working class men because they've been on Instagram way too much and they don't understand the truth of the matter. When it when it comes to black businesses, 95% are sole proprietor. Sole proprietor businesses only make 12K a year. So this whole black women are the backbone of the society, of the community because they're building businesses and this and that. Sole proprietor. All right, 60% fail in the first year. All right. So these women that are quote unquote going and getting degrees are professional. I get it. I understand you want to be better. I understand. All right. But don't then look down on the man that's making probably just as much as you or more doing a nice, secure job. Women will say up and down that they want protection. They want a person that can protect and provide. Right. At 42K a year, you can provide. All right. Now, maybe not a lot. You ain't going crazy. But if you want a person that cares about you, 42K is enough. And then if you add in your little whatever you're doing, if you got a little part-time job, maybe 13K a year, that's enough. That's enough to protect and provide. All right. But what we have is people that are hypergamous. And I'm not saying this loosely. I don't believe that all women are completely hypergamous. I believe that hypergamy is it's a spectrum. Okay. So you have the biggest consumer of social media in America are black women. Okay. So you get women that, and we all know that social media makes you uncontent with your current situation, right? So you got women on there thinking that life is just a game and it's all fun and games, and that working class men who work hard are just disposable. I was in Kenya in March, in the month of March. I was in Kenya for the whole month. We went out and we were coming back. You got to get a little food when you're done, right? You got to get something in you or you be sick for the rest of the night. We go to this place called Chicken Inn, and if any of my viewers are in Kenya, I think they're ranked fourth on the countries that view me. So if any of y'all from Kenya, y'all know what Chicken Inn is. But the fact of the matter is, a woman came in there, a huge woman came up in there. All right, she came in there and she brought alcohol in there, and of course that's not allowed. So the man told her, the guy, he's a security guy, he's just doing what he got to do. He's just trying to get by. He ain't making much. He's just making enough to get through the day. All right, so he tell her, you got to take the liquor outside, this and that. What does she do? Start yelling at the man. I'm this and this and that. You ain't doing nothing. You a security guard. You a secure this and this and that. I own my own business. I'm like, what? What you sell incense? You got a Spotify website, and you're selling incense. That's I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying the hustle is bad, but to knock men that are working hard in a very secure job, the secure jobs that bring the black community into the middle class, this you can't do that, man. That's disrespectful. There needs to be a certain respect for men in general, or hardworking men, not any men, because some of y'all homosexual, some of y'all some bums. Okay, some of y'all, you know how that be. Some of you homosexuals, y'all bums, y'all don't really deserve much. All right, but we got somebody else in the chat. Let's see what they got to say. I think you got to unmute, bro.
No,
Oh,
my name is.
okay,
Hello,
okay.
good evening. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've been commenting. I've been seeing about. Let me put on my camera. I've been seeing. How are you? I've been
I'm good.
seeing your videos, and I've been commenting because I'm trying to figure out the argument. Before you can debate, you have to have what is the statement? What are we debating? And that's where it kind of gets confusing with all of the videos that's on YouTube. It's like, what is your position before we can say, okay, come and debate me? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. So what I want is for black men and black women to both be held accountable for their actions. Historically speaking, I believe that black men have and are doing better. On the women's side, though, it's a little bit more questionable. According to the statistics, in the 70s, the rate of out of wedlock births was 23%. That rate has now skyrocketed to 78%. These are stats that we all know, but we can't go further as a community until we build economics. And the best way to build group economics right now is marriage or unionship. So if the women have a distaste for the men because they believe that they're better than the working class because they're the ones getting the degrees, which, by the way, if you're a professional woman, your chances of get 70% of professional women are single. Okay, because they have a disdain or a distaste for the working class men. So basically, my goal is to get people together to build group economics so that a lot of the problems that black people are complaining about, we don't have to worry about because we have the money to deal with the situations.
Um, okay, so you want the goal is unification
Yes.
in a simplified version. And the thought process is that the videos, the commentary is supposed to show women the error in their ways, and then this will bring up, they will humble themselves and then become unified. Is that the goal?
Well, some part of it is just to warn some women before certain things happen. I believe that a lot of the videos that I do, them women are gone. All right. A lot of them women in the videos, these are extreme cases and they're out of the window. But it is to warn women in the future because I don't believe the conversations being had to black women of their options before they carry a baby to term. There's no way you can have a 78% out of wedlock rate unless somebody doesn't know something. And they have many options. So a lot of the videos, yes, the commentary is to get a conversation going so that people can understand that women have to be held accountable too. Because we're saying that it's just the men in our community that have the problem, but a lot of the problems are coming from the women that aren't being talked about because you can't talk to women nowadays.
I mean, I would agree that both parties should be held accountable, but for something that's tangible, speaking about birth rates, right? What is the perspective on what sex is for? What is the purpose? Because if the accountability is being put on the woman, there are many things that she can do. Some of those things include killing and aborting, right? So if the very basis of which men are pursuing women, that gets them into that, they agree to come into positions to where they humble themselves before wedlock, we have to look at who is doing the causative action, who is going towards these women and wanting to humble them in a way in which is going to make them this statistic. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Is the
So
woman pursuing the man, or is the man pursuing the woman, even if it's not for commitment, if he
I'm
just
sure.
wants to lay with her?
Oh, I'm sure it's the men pursuing the women on most cases. I have
Okay.
no whim about that. But
Okay.
women have the selective choice to choose who they want to lay down with. And not only that, they have the selective choice to choose who they want to carry the term with. And when I say that, I don't mean that they don't have options before. Obviously, you have birth control, which should be spoken about more in our community. You have you have condoms. If you don't want to use birth control, you can use condoms. If you don't want to use condoms, you have Plan Bs. So a lot of people go straight to abortion, but that's an
So,
extreme case. You don't need to go all the way that far if you know your options before. And if you don't want to carry a baby to term, I don't believe you should be laying down with the men anyway. And I don't believe the men should
okay.
be laying down with the women either,
Okay,
by
that's
the
where
way.
that's kind of where I wanted to see if we're going to talk about how we move forward in unity, we have to find places that we connect and agree. So it has to be some foundation laid. Sex is for fill in the blank. And if we can't agree on that, that's going to show why there's so much confusion. If it's for procreation and building generational wealth and bringing forth children, then it shouldn't be just thrown all around the place because it's Tuesday. You
Right,
understand what I'm saying? But
right.
that's what's happening. What's happening is people are speaking out of two sides of the mouth. On one side, pumper and dumper, and on the next side, it's your fault because you had a baby. Right? It's not making sense. I don't think we're connecting the act with the statistics or the
See, the
thought process with the statistics.
the problem is there's a misconception that a minority of men are out to impregnate women and not take care of their children. A minority of black men, that's something that black men do, and it's just not true. Okay, that's just not true. What we have is a small minority of black men that are going out and getting a lot of women pregnant. Okay,
Wait, wait, wait,
and,
wait, wait,
and
wait. Come again, come again. I'm sorry. Come again. I want to follow you on this. So you're saying that all of these statistics that we hear about, this is a small minority of men that's impregnating the larger pool of women?
absolutely. About
That's
50, I
interesting.
believe about 50% of men are black men are single and don't have any children. We couldn't
I
say the
mean, I
same
think
about black women.
what we must here's a question to ask a lot of people who may be listening is how many men when they were younger accidentally impregnated a woman and asked her to get an abortion, right?
Oh,
Because
I,
that happens, right?
see. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that asking a woman to get abortion is good. I believe that is an extreme example that if both parties know their options beforehand, they can negate that risk. That's a very extreme option. That's why I don't even really like to talk about abortion because if you've been proactive in what you're doing, if you know you're sleeping around with bums, and if you're a bum and you know you're women
Eh,
have birth control. Men don't have a birth control. Not that I know of at least.
I want
So
to say bums. I want years ago. Are you familiar with Dr. Childress, the one
nah,
who talks about? Okay, he talks about. He did a documentary talking about black abortion in the black community. I spoke to him many years ago because there's not a lot of conversation in the community around the amount of abortion and what's really going on. If we're going to have the single mother statistics, we also need to have the conversation on the other side. For instance, Chili from
I,
TLC,
I
she shared a story.
But I
I'm
think
sorry.
you're I'm sorry, I think you're just missing the whole point. You don't have to go to the extreme of abortion if we're having conversations with our daughter that tells them, take birth control. Are you sexually active? Take birth control. I don't recommend you become sexually active because we know that the more partners you have before marriage, the less
Right.
likely your marriage is to last. So I don't
That's
recommend you
correct.
do it. But if you decide to do it, let's get you on some birth control.
Can I
Let's
ask a
let
question? The birth control, what, when you say the woman is not, you said that earlier, women in society are not being held accountable. She's being held accountable for not conceiving. When she's taking that birth control, it's affecting her body. It's increasing the chances of her having cancer, right? All of these things, we talk about statistics health wise. Uh-oh.
you out of it. All right, we might have to move on. We might have to move on. We have to move on. Come on back in. You come back in whenever we get it back going. What's up, Lee? Lee, how's it going?
Pretty good, my brother. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's the first time I did this on my computer. I usually use my phone. So with Kevin Samuels, I agree with, I say maybe 80 to 85% of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, which is fine for the most part. Some of the things are, I guess, nitpicky, but it kind of bothers me given where I came from, which is Mississippi. So first of all, I'd like to get into what affects what people call high value because I feel like, or I know based on my experience and the experience of others that are like me, that most women value what they can see as opposed to what is actually within a person.
Yeah,
Um,
unfortunately. I
Unfortunately,
agree.
right. I.e., I can tell you my daughter, when I was married, she was born into this world with more assets than the entirety of, the other side of the family, my wife's side.
Yep.
Like, they didn't even know. Yet they only judge me based on what they see me taking in every year,
Right.
which is 65, 70 plus, which is okay. It's not great, but it's okay.
But see,
But
that's the problem that I'm having with what's going on now. There
mhm,
there are people that can say that women want a man that can protect and provide. And the truth of the matter is 60 or 70K in most areas. And I'm not saying all, if you living in LA, you won't be in some trouble. You might be a part of that homeless population pretty soon. But most people can protect and provide with 60 or 70K. The problem is so many women, due to the overconsumption of social media, are just discontent with what a man has to offer nowadays, and they feel like they can go and get more. And I'm not saying
exactly.
it's all women. Some women are like, yeah, I'm in a good spot. I'm very content with what's going on. But
Mhm.
we have this glorifying effect of women that go out and quote unquote chase a bag or exploit men. I mean, Cardi B literally said she drugged men and robbed them. Like, and that's just something that we got to
That's
get
apparently
past.
okay in our society.
Yeah. So yeah, I couldn't. Man, I relate to you. Let me go ahead and get her back in though, because it feel like we kind of getting into a little
Well,
debating.
I have another thing about weight, but if you want to get her back on, I understand.
Yeah, Lee, let me go ahead and get it back on because I think we agree too much. We like each other too much.
There's
We
a couple
cool.
of things. There's a couple of things. That was the start, but okay.
All right, bro. Hey, you back? You back?
Yeah, sorry about that. My phone was ringing and he's gonna die. So, um, essentially, what I was saying is that it's deeper. There's an echo. I'm not sure this is it's on my side.
No, no. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I got that good Wi-Fi.
You can hear an echo.
No, I don't hear one.
Okay.
You good?
So essentially, I was speaking about the birth control and saying the woman should take responsibility. That affects her body, that affects her biology, and it exposes her to different kinds of cancers because of what the birth control pill does. So essentially, when you take sex out of the confines of marriage, you're introducing all of what you're talking about,
No, yeah,
that
I
the
couldn't
issues
agree.
that
No,
prevail within our community.
here's the thing. I agree with you.
All
I
right.
agree that people shouldn't be doing it before marriage in the first place. But if you are doing it before marriage, don't be getting pregnant and carrying the baby to term. If you want to go out and mess with men that you shouldn't be messing with, these are risks you're trying to take. And the problem is that we because I've heard this argument before when they talk about cancer, right? When they talk about the possibility of cancer through birth control. Um, why don't we
It's,
ever talk about the possibility of dying of a heart disease from the 80% obesity rate, which is the number one killer of black women? You know what I mean? Like, why do we only talk about the future potential effects of something when it's birth control? Like,
it's not really
you see where
future.
I'm going?
It's not really future. The black women constitute a large number of people who are dying from cancers, various types of cancers. Heart disease is also an issue. I'm not a proponent for people being overweight. It's like apples and oranges. We can put both of it on the table. It's all an issue.
Right, but where in the mainstream media outside of the black manosphere are these conversations being had?
Which ones?
The ones that we're having now. When we talk about these options before pregnancy, and we say women close your legs, don't be having men going in and out of you. And when we say obesity rate, the 80% obesity rate is the number one killer of black women in America right now. Like, where are these conversations happening? And this is why I question the amount of accountability that our women are receiving and how they're taking it. Because when
You
we
know,
say this, we're somehow like your enemy when
no, I
it's
don't
really
think.
just things that
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
are helping you, like in terms of the the feedback. Because I would admit, black men for a while and still do need criticism, and I always say black men should do better, but we actually have and are doing better. But we can't work with a
I,
70% out of wedlock rate. We just can't do it. We
but the
can't work
outer way,
with 80% of the women being unattractive because they're obese. It's not
yeah.
something we trying to do.
Here's one thing, and I know my phone is about to go out, but This is my thoughts. I did a video yesterday on what Sir Mix-a-Lot did to the culture, right? And how that song Baby Got Back went to the world platinum, the Billboard, and created a certain thought process, right?
Okay.
Then people fed into this, and it got out of control. And now the same men who were propagating it on one side, they're on the other side saying, "Oh no, you're wrong for X, Y, and Z." Do you
So are
understand
we
what I'm
kind
saying?
of
So when we
equating?
talk
Are
about
we kind of equating the?
accountability, I'm
Are we
sorry.
accounting? Are we equating the rate with the song "Baby Got
No,
Back" or whatever the
what I'm
song?
equating is the culture that men set up at a certain point in time and the
But
things that the women fed into. And now
but
that
this
it has gotten out of hand, those sons of those men or those children are now on the other hand saying, wait a minute. But if we're going to be honest, we have to connect the two. That this behavior didn't just come from nowhere.
right,
Do
but
you understand what I'm saying?
yeah, but at the end of the day, regardless of where, but this is the lack of accountability. What I'm talking about. As soon as there's a problem amongst black women, we go right back to the men, and we say that
You
it's
have
because of the
to.
men. But no, that's just not true. It's
You
simply
have to.
not
We're
true.
connected.
When you talk
We're
about was
connected.
it
You have to.
how in the world black women in 2021 ain't nobody listening to Baby Got Back no more, but a lot of people got a
Yes,
lot of
they
back.
are. The
Let's be
man is still
really
making
honest. Okay,
$2,000 a day in
come on,
royalties.
dog. Come on, man. We can't do. Come on now. We got to. All right. I appreciate you for coming on. I
Thank
like
you
what
for
you was
having
doing up.
me.
You put it out there. But yes, I am about unity. Okay, so I do love the sisters out there, and I do hope that y'all know black men and black women get together and build economics. That's what I'm all for. But I appreciate you though.
Listen, thank you.
All right. Who coming up next? Anybody else got disagreements? I'm not hostile. Okay. I don't. I try to reason. I try to be a person that people can talk to and have a conversation with. I try to have discussions. All right. So I do have the facts to back me up a lot of the times, and I'm sometimes quick witted, but I'm just a guy doing a thing, right? I'm a guy doing a thing. So let's see. We got a name that I can't even pronounce in the building. Let's go ahead and get him on.
Yo, my brother, man. Yo, listen, man. I won't be long winded, man. I just gotta say this, man. You spitting that gospel, my brother. You spitting that good shit, man. Yo, I listen, man. So I also have a channel, man, where pretty much, I have like live streams, right? Where I say, look, man, I will provide any female $100, right, if they can prove to me right now that 95% of black women ain't shit, right? But
All
right,
right. That's a
right,
crazy statistic. Where you get that statistic from?
no,
I'm
right. So,
right.com.
nah, man. Yo, it's sample size, right? For example, man, like in 95% of black women who I've encountered, they turn out not to be shit, right? But bro, like my channel have gone, bro. Bro, they put me in YouTube prison, bro. Like I can't post
Oh
a
yeah.
comment,
Oh, that'll happen. Actually, just
man.
today, the governor of Florida just made it so that big tech companies have to pay 250 grand a day when they're censoring quote unquote conservative ideas, which a lot of these big tech companies are. So yeah, you best believe if you say the wrong thing, you out of there. That's why I'd be worried about Kevin Samuels and other red pill content creators, because at the drop of a hat, you could be out of there. Even Abba and Preach, they got a couple flags, so they really they walking on a thin line right now. So that's
Wait,
just
I
how they
bet Pete
move.
got it too. God
Yeah,
damn,
yeah. I've been preached. They almost out of there, so they tiptoeing right now.
mm, man. Oh well, hey man, thank you, my brother. Hey man, folks, man, listen, man, check me out, bro, at Poetic Flacco, man. Got about like 3,000 subs, man. For me, we're growing, man. I started exactly, bro. I started the exact month. Um, you started, man. I think you started. So I started following you when you had about like I'll say like 12,000 subs, man. For me, man, bro. You've been growing, man. But folks, hold it down, bro. They're trying to get us out of here, man. All right, my brother. Peace out.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you. You might be muted.
Yo, yo, yo.
Okay, there
You
we
you
go.
got me now? You can hear me?
I got you. All right, brother, we're back.
All
So
right.
I guess if you want a disagreement, my only real disagreement is with weight and I guess beauty. I have a daughter, and knowing statistics and having family
Yo,
members, I
I'm sorry. Make
definitely,
sure my mic working. Go ahead, though. I'm sorry.
yeah, I definitely understand, the importance of, keeping yourself in shape and all that good stuff. But when he goes on his rants about, you're this height, you should be this weight, when black babies or ethnic babies come out with more muscle, more um, um, bone density than others, and you can look that up if you like. Um, but I know that as a fact. So when you say, "Oh, she's 5'5", she should be 130," there should be some more wiggle room there, I feel. And based on statistics and what I've seen, it's not like it's a feeling just because, of what I like per se. But my fear, I guess, for my child would be that, um, you know, not being able to meet certain standards means that, okay, so you shouldn't go after what you want in life. And he says, yes, you should go after what you want, but you should tailor your expectations based on a certain look that's in style now that may not be in style 20 years from now.
But I'm
Uh,
gonna tell you, now, Lee. Being in shape is always gonna be in style, and you can take the there's something called the body mass index. I'm not gonna get into it, but because it just take. But either way, if you like what you look like in the mirror. Okay. And let's just be completely honest. Let's be completely honest. Generally speaking, if you're not in a place where you're comfortable, you know. All right. And usually that means you're a little bit overweight. There are a lot of people in that situation and they're not taking accountability for where they are. They just want the world to become weaker for them instead of becoming stronger for the world. So we're supposed to accept that. But a lot of men aren't.
I'm with you on that one. But when I can show her pictures of her grandmother and her mother and, other women in our family, and this is what they got, and this is how they looked at a certain age. And as you age, you're going to gain a little bit of weight, but you shouldn't be all the way to the right.
Crazy.
You see what
Right.
I'm saying? Like,
But I mean, but here's the thing. When it
say,
comes to poverty in America, the goalpost is always moving, but black men are expected to pull ourselves out of poverty. Can you hear me? Somebody saying no sound.
I can hear you. It
Um
might be just on YouTube.
okay. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, I'm sure they good. They good. But no matter what the standard is for middle class, black men are expected to get us into the middle class, and we have done that. 56, like I said before, 56% of black men are in the middle class. This does not include the upper class. So I understand that it may be a historical thing. This may be a family generational curse or whatever it may be, but it's time to break them. You gotta eventually, regardless of what the situation is, you gotta continue to climb, man. So
Yeah, and again, my terms on high value just based on what our family has and our background is kind of laughable because I even see women down me. I'm like, how is that? Like my car is paid for, all this stuff I have, like in general makes you high value because you don't have a lot of debt, you have high credit, you have everything you need to make it. But I guess maybe because I don't wear $3,000 jeans or something crazy
that's
like
what
that,
it is.
I
Too
can't.
many people, too many of our women are into eye candy. All right. So, and I used the example earlier, but also right now, only 23% of black women want relationships. There was a new poll that I don't know if you was here earlier when I said it, but yes, there was a new poll that was public or it was done in 2020. Kevin Samuels brought it up on his channel and a brother had sent it to him. And I just looked it up. So I have confirmed it, but a poll has been given to black men and black women. 43% of black men want relationships. Only 23% of black women say they want relationships. And it's because they don't feel like they need them, but it's just not true. It's simply not true because anytime you have an extra income in the household or somebody to help you, this is how people get rich. When you look at the richest people in the world, the top 10, all of them are going to be married or divorced. But when they were climbing to that level, they were married. It's just how it works. It's the economics.
That's the truest statement ever. My parents did it the same way. I thought I'd be able to do it the same way, but things don't work out because of an assumption,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Given what all I bring to the table, you make X amount of dollars. Okay, that's cute, you know. But you look at what I actually have after the fact, and that you can't touch it. That's when it hurts. Okay, so you want a divorce? Cool. We'll let you go about your way, but you can't touch this over here because this is an LLC. It's blocked. We haven't taken anything out of the entirety of our marriage, so that'll go to my daughter. Congratulations,
Yeah.
you guys missed out.
Yes, sir. Yo, heir to the throne. That's exactly how it's supposed to be, brother. I am so happy. I'm gonna go on to the next caller, but I am so happy for you, man. Getting it all together, taking care of your responsibilities. We need more people like you.
I love your podcast, man. Keep doing what you do, bro.
All right, brother. All right, y'all. Y'all see that? Good man. Good brother. All right. Got everything a woman say they want. He can protect and provide. He ain't breaking the bank. 60, 70K, but that means he got enough time to spend with you. People be talking about, I want this $100,000, $200,000 man. Not understanding what that comes with. You want the marriage. You don't want what happens after the marriage. You want what you seen in the Disney movie. You want Beauty and the Beast get married, and then that's just good. It's just good from there. You don't know what they take after that. And what's interesting is the poll that came out. It was by the NPR National Poll, something, but they do pretty good polls, all right. And they're not going to be the most accurate, but at 23%, you can't really work with that. But it is very close to the rate of marriage for Black women. And even when you see the callers, and I will use this show, on Kevin Samuel's show, you see a lot of them saying, I was proposed to, I just didn't want him. It was just too early for me at the time. I was focused on my career. 70% of Black or 70% of professional women are single. When you get to the age of 35, the chances of you getting married has decreased to 30%. These are just the facts. It's not me being a mean guy. These are just the facts. It's just the warning. Okay, so if you want a family, that's something you're gonna have to work towards. Just like if you want that career, that's gonna be something you have to work towards. It's that simple. I mean, I don't know what more to tell people, but I'd always say that the relationship is a better bet because you have group economics. So you and the woman can work together to equal the income that you're looking for. You have extra disposable income for investments, Dogecoin to the moon, XRP to the moon, by the way, Ethereum to the moon, Bitcoin is going to the moon. So y'all better get on board. Look into cryptocurrency if you don't know about it. But I'm going to get the next caller in. Let's see. Sean, let's see what Sean talking about. Let's get down here. Oh, we got a woman there. We got a ladies. Ladies first. Let's see what the ladies is talking about.
Hi, can
Farrah, you live? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good.
So yeah, I think originally, I guess we were kind of speaking to some of like my issues with Kevin Samuels, like talking points. I mean, I'm like familiar with some of his content. I think some of my biggest issues kind of stem from like the numerical rating, like to try to create a scale to create a numerical ranking to quantify beauty. I think that's like one of my biggest issues that he has. I think some of his talking points are well. I think like we need to question some of people's preferences, like as it equates to not wanting a blue collar man or someone who makes $50,000.
Do I pronounce your name Fairy or Far? How do I pronounce your name?
No, it's Fairy. You got to correct that.
Fairy. Do you think that men don't judge women based on their looks? Do you think that, like, if we were allowed to have a conversation and there was another man on here, or if I'm having a conversation with another dude anywhere, do you think that men talk about looks and where a woman lies on the scale, quote unquote, of looks?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's a great point. And I do think, of course, men value looks. I have issue with his personal rating. I mean, his personal ranking scale that he set. And like,
see, the thing is, that's his personal scale, all right? And that doesn't mean that's everybody's. And that's why you got to understand that Kevin Samuels has an entertainment aspect to his show. I don't really watch all of his show, but he does have an entertainment aspect to his show. Do you feel like women judge men based on how much money they make or how tall they are?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you get where I'm going with this? Do you see the disconnect?
No, I think it's actually a video. I think I'm going to link it in the chat where Kevin Samuels stated in 2018 in an interview that Black women are on the opposite spectrum of everything that quantifies beauty. I'm actually going to link it in the chat.
So I know what you're talking about. I kind of went in on this a little bit on my Facebook. Someone sent it to me on Facebook and expected me to answer it, which I don't know why, because I only listen to his talk. The reason why I used him in the video title is because anytime you use his name in the video title, the video is going to do astronomically better. Let's just be completely honest. But what I'm really here is to defend the Black Manosphere points. But I did debunk this. He was saying, and for the people that are coming in, Kevin Samuels basically said that according to the scientific symmetry of faces, Black people, and he said Black women, but I think he should have specified. I don't know if he was in a conversation with a Black woman or speaking about Black women at the time. He did say that Black women are on the opposite side of that spectrum in terms of beauty, and that's by a scientific a ratio that determines symmetry of your face. But Black men also lie on the opposite side of that spectrum. Now, how accurate that spectrum is, how Eurocentric those values are, probably very Eurocentric, probably created by some guy, some scientist somewhere in Europe. So I wouldn't die on it. I'm sure he wouldn't die on that hill anyway. But it was something interesting to bring up, because the reason why you may do your hair a certain way and feel like it doesn't look as good as another haircut is because you understand that face symmetry matters, regardless of if you openly know it or not. You can look at yourself and say, this doesn't look good for some reason. I don't know why, but I feel like my hair should be this way. And it's usually because of how it aligns with the symmetry of your face. That's why different hairstyles look better on different women. So I do understand your concern about that. I would definitely, that's something that I had to look into too. But I had already, looked at a few documentaries and whatnot about the symmetry of faces. And
the golden fire ratio that was created by Grecians, not Egyptians or Nubians, not Black people. This was a ratio that was created specifically by white people.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's Eurocentric. If I'm going to say the most beautiful people on the planet, I'm sure I'm going to put my own people at the top.
Yeah,
that's just how it works.
It's like
it is what it is.
People say he has issue with Black women. I think kind of stands for certain comments like that he's kind of never really addressed. And I think that's why when Black women have issue with him quantifying beauty, I think him saying things like that was like, it needs to be addressed, because he never really explained, like, why would you use a ratio that was created by Grecians to quantify Black beauty? I think when he said that statement, it was like kind of alarming.
Yeah, I get it. It was in a. You have to understand he's doing 4-hour lives. Yeah. So, and he's talking about a lot of theories. A lot of these things are theories, but there is such thing as universal beauty. There's somebody when they walk into the room, whether it's a tall, attractive man or, a beautiful woman, where 9 out of the 10 people will say that's an attractive person. That's what I consider universal beauty. I mean, and I was on a panel just a little bit ago, and they were arguing that there's no such thing as being beautiful or being attractive. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not doing that conversation. That's bullshit. I don't want to hear that. That's y'all choosing people based on looks and how much they can provide for you. That's just what it is. But I appreciate you for having. Do you have any other things you disagree with?
One thing too, I know that you brought up early in the show, and I kind of said them in the chat. What is the issue with only 23% of Black women wanting relationships? Like, what correlates that issue that only 23% of Black women? Like, what's the issue? What's your issue with that statistic?
Well, because that means we don't have group economics. Mm-hmm. And group economics is the reason why we're failing. If the average Black man salary here, I have the statistic here. If the average salary of a Black man is $42K and the average salary of a Black woman is $36K, the only way to go further is through unionship. Mm-hmm. Because then that equals, about $80K. And if you're living in an area that isn't crazy expensive, that means you have extra income to invest in certain stocks or cryptocurrencies or whatever is coming up, and you have a safety net. You know what I mean? So the reason why we're losing is because we have no unity. We're not together. Other communities are together at way higher rates than us. I think the next in terms of not being together is like half of what we are. So, and I don't want to spew out bullshit stats, but I know it's around half of where we are. And that's where the reason why a lot of other communities are beating us is because they're together. So regardless of, what I mean? So at the end of the day, and if you don't want a relationship, but more than 23% of women are having children, you know what I mean? So you don't want a relationship, but you're having children by men. And it shows that the men are wanting the relationships for the most part, but the women aren't. You get where I'm going with this. So it seems as though this is the acceptance of single motherhood in our community, which in other communities they shun. And you see where acceptance has gotten us. You see where fat acceptance gets you. It gets you to 80% obesity rate, and acceptance of single mothers gets you from 23% in 1970s to 78% today, which is insane. The fact that I walk down the street.
I was trying to see where you were trying to what was the issue with that statistic? Because I don't think women not wanting. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. But if you don't want a relationship, you shouldn't be having children. You shouldn't from that point. Okay, I understand it. But outside of that, I don't think women not wanting a relationship.
No, that plus group economics. That plus the fact that if we have two incomes is better than one income.
But I think sometimes even with Kevin Samuels, or even sometimes like even on your channel, I think sometimes the use of statistics are very misleading. Like a lot of times people reference the fact that like maybe it's 70 to 80% of women file for divorce, but you don't actually add contextual evidence to that. What are the reasons that women are filing for divorce? One of the main reasons is infidelity. I think sometimes. Yeah, no, seriously, infidelity.
No, I got you, but here's the thing. A lot of people can say that the women are unhappy, but the women have incentive to also leave those marriages. That's a huge component. You are incentivized. You benefit as a woman from being divorced. So
like alimony or like child
support. Yeah. So if we're on a ship and you get, or we're doing a challenge, and which is, marriage is hard as hell. Like, it's a hard thing to do, especially long term. So if we're doing that, and when it gets hard, you get money for quitting. I mean, what do you have to stick into it? Like, what gives you incentive to stick into it? That, plus, when we talk about who is actually sad in the marriages, well, married men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide than married women. So I guess that kind of
but also
talks about who has the most pressure in those relationships.
Statistics, because also says that women are very more aware. There's statistics that say that women are way more aware of the emotional health of their relationships compared to men. I think so. It all depends how you want to use it. There's statistics that can justify everything, but sometimes I feel like in the Manosphere, like, there are statistics that are like you people look at the fact that 80% of women are filing for divorce, but they don't add context. Also, one thing that women also want, another main reason that I looked at is women also want careers, and I think that that's something that kind of is an issue, because it's like, if you do want to work, you don't want to be a traditional housewife, that creates a lot of tension in the household. So I think that's another component. Like, we're not contextualizing statistics, we just blatantly use them.
No, I agree, but I just told you why the 80% filing for divorce rate is probably valid, in terms of them just being discontent with where the relationship is and wanting more. Black women are also the highest consumers of social media, and we know that social media leads to depression, anxiety in women specifically, and it makes women less content with their current situation. It makes them feel like they should go and get more. So
yeah, I think when you're talking about that sentence as well, one of the things that men always speak about is like alimony or child support. But if I, like, from my viewpoint, if I was a man who's making $200,000 a year, I wouldn't marry someone who's making 30 or 40 and complain when I have to buy alimony, when there's women who are making 6 figures that are in a comparative income as that I am making. So they wouldn't, if you were marry someone who's in a similar, economic state that you are in, you wouldn't have to pay these boatloads of alimony, because when it comes down to who makes the most money. So if I was making 200K as a man, I would be kind of looking for a woman who's making maybe a similar income to myself. I wouldn't want to marry someone who only makes 30K.
The problem is this. Only 70% of professional women are, or 70% of professional women are single. No one wants them, because when you have $200,000 and you make $200,000, your concern isn't usually more money. You already know how to go out and get, and you're probably building that income. Okay, so your concern isn't money. You need someone that's able to manage a household to protect the heir to your throne. That's what you're concerned about. So a lot of women believe that the more money they have, the more they should have access to men, and it's just not true. Yeah. Unfortunately, when you have more money as a woman, you shorten the pool of men that you actually want to date, because generally speaking, men or women want men that make just equal or a little bit more than them. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you're limiting your pool.
200K. Most people make around 50, make average amount of money. So that was an extreme amount. I mean, most people make, even men, what's women like 30, average around 30,000, men make around 50,000. I think, are those in like similar? I think those are the right statistics. So I mean, people aren't really even making 200K. So I feel like if you're making 50,000 and you marry someone who makes 30,000, I mean, that's comparative income. That's not an extreme jump. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's just, there are a few things that a lot of people say these statistics, and that's why I have this show open, because a lot of people want to talk about my statistics and say, well, what does that lie in? And this is what I'm here to, open up for y'all. So I'm happy you came on, happy you had this conversation with me, Ferry, but I'm going to go ahead and go to the next caller.
Of course. Thank you. Have a good one.
All righty, Ferry. Yes, sir. We want it all today, but I am a reasonable person. I will have a conversation with you. I'm not going to try to belittle you for not knowing. I do this professionally. I do this all day. All right. If y'all knew all the content that I'm listening to and trying to find research on, because I hear so many bullshit statistics, not only on the other side, I hear a few on our side. I will say I hear a few on our side that I haven't been able to find the data. So I'm a little bit concerned about, but we got somebody else. We got a few other people in the chat, Any women that have concerns. All right, I know I'm gonna be talking to men all day, you know, sausage party. I ain't trying to have all that. If there's no women that have any questions or concerns, I don't want y'all in my comments talking about some you're wrong about this, you're wrong about that. Let's go ahead and get it going. Anybody, any women that got something to say? This is all I deal with. I was supposed to have a debate today with a guy called The Honest Truth. Y'all can go check out his channel and hear what he has to say. But a lot of his statistics talk about how just black men ain't doing it and this and this and that. When I brought up the statistics to clarify that just recently, black men are moving into the middle class at a higher rate than any other men. Okay, we're doing it. All right, black men are stepping up to the plate. We can do better. Don't get me wrong. You can always do better, and we should look to improve. But what we need to do now is pull those women with us, because 80% obesity, can't do nothing with that. All right, we got men that make enough to protect and provide, but ain't nobody gonna want you. Gotta be careful. All right, gotta be careful. Attractiveness matters to a man. Okay, attractiveness does matter to men. When we talk about 78% out of wedlock rate, there's nothing we could do with that. How are 23% of black women only 23% of black women want relationships, but 78% of them are getting pregnant? So let's go ahead and anybody else in there? Any women? No women. Let's go ahead and get one of these guys up in the place. Sean, let's see what Sean got to say.
Hey, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? It's an honor to be on your podcast. I'm a big fan. I just want to kind of briefly say that, like you, I'm kind of tired of this false narrative that's being pushed around as far as the black man isn't doing enough and the black woman is killing it. She's getting to the bag. I'm so really tired of that narrative, because let's just say if black women are, let's say if we're going to go ahead and go with the narrative, black women are killing it, getting to the bag. Where are the resources, the fruits of the labor that typically comes with getting the bag and being the most educated? Where are the resources that benefits the community?
I already told you. I already debunked a lot of those stats. Okay, so I'll go through it again if y'all want to hear it. You say you got the most educated, the most graduating high or college and getting degrees. I get it. Okay, I understand. That's a good thing. I won't knock black women for trying to do better, but 54% of college graduates as of 2020, only 54% are unemployed or do not have a job in their field. So you can be the most educated, this and that, but if you're not going into the right fields that hire people, then it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's out of the window. When we talk about black women being the fastest growing business owners in America, what they don't talk about is these are self-ownership businesses. Okay, so there is one person operating these businesses, and the chances of a sole operator businesses failing in the first year is 60%, and sole operator businesses, sole proprietor businesses only make $12K a year on average. So you can go out and sell all the t-shirts you want and drop ship all the e-commerce from China you want, but the truth of the matter is simply this: it's not making that much money. So it's easy to say I'm a business owner and go get an LLC nowadays. I'm not knocking black women for trying these things, but you have to be critical when we talk about the backbone of our community. And what we need to do is appreciate the men that are working very hard, blue collar, white collar men that are working very hard to keep black men afloat and black families afloat and pushing us into the middle class. That's what we need to focus on.
Exactly, man. And you know what? I'm going to give you another stat. Since 2012, Jalen Rose, LeBron James, and Sean P. Diddy Combs have opened up a combined 6 charter schools for inner city youth, inner city troubled kids. 6, okay? Now,
how many Dr. Umar got?
All we need is HVAC. All we got to do is get HVAC and the free labor. and you know what else? I'm going to give you another stat, and I'm going to wrap this up because I know you want to get other people on. There are currently 8 black billionaires in the country. About 7 of them are black men, 1 black woman. And we all know who a black woman is.
That's Oprah.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the guys by the name of Robert Smith in 2019 paid off their entire student loan of Morehouse College to the combined amount of $34 million. Now you
Wow.
tell me black men aren't the backbones of the
See,
black
and
community.
this is the thing that I'm saying. Of all men, of all races, black men are the most likely to be active in their communities. But if you ask the other people and what they believe on this topic, they'll say black men don't care about their communities. We are the most likely to be active in our community, probably through the church. Don't get me wrong, probably through the church. But nonetheless, of all men, all male demographics in America, black men are the most likely to be active in their community. So I don't want to hear black men don't care about their communities. That's BS.
Exactly.
But let me go ahead and get back to the next caller, Sean. Let me go ahead and get to it, bro.
You got it, brother. All right.
Appreciate you. All right, y'all. All right. Now we getting it going. Let's go and keep warming up. Any people that don't agree, all right? We need people that are questioning the facts, the statistics. They want to know where they come from. I got sources. I got everything. Come with it. Come with it. I was prepared today. I came prepared for a debate. So, I need to hear some numbers. If you don't agree with me, don't come on here with that BS. How you feel? And Kevin Samuels might be gay and black Manosphere men are simps and this and this. And I don't want to hear none of that. I want to hear real statistics that support your opinions. And if they are supported, I will listen to them. And if they make sense, I may change my decision on how I feel about a certain topic. It's that simple. So let's get Rico the opportunist up, or the optionist. That's opinionist, or what is
There
it?
you
What
go.
was opinionist? Rico the opinionist.
I'm opinionist, and so yeah. Well, damn. Well, first of all, I appreciate your podcast. I've been checking you out here and there. You're kind of new under my radar, because I always discover somebody new speaking on behalf of brothers. I think MTR was first, then I discovered you. So I'm glad to see young guys coming in with this logic. And please forgive me. I don't disagree. I called in to give some clarity or some correction on some things. That's okay.
Okay.
All right. I listened to the conversation between you and the young lady, as well. The young lady who I keep Barry and a brother from Mississippi. And it ceases to amaze me that I don't think people are really listening to his podcast or the replays or the playback. I've listened and I continue to listen, and he clearly explains what he means by high value men. He talks.
Oh, you talk about Kevin Samuels?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Kevin Samuels. And I just want to give clarity, because it's not just on your podcast, but across the board. You've heard his detractors. They say the wildest things. I said, well, damn it, I didn't hear any of that when I was listening to 3 hours, 4 hours. So I just want to say he gives the exact definition of what it means by high value men. And what high value men know, 1 to 3% of men who earn this amount of 6 figures or more, 3 years, 10,000.
5 years consecutively or something like that, right?
Yeah, and so he breaks it all down, and so I don't understand when they're talking about how he hates black women. I mean, it's weird how people deflect when the man speaks very well. You have noticed that he's very articulate. He's not some anomaly. He's not some enigma. What he is one who's been fortunate enough to get his YouTube platform to say what most of us have been saying in the streets or on the telephone for the past 30 years.
I agree. But there's been such a narrative. There's been such a pollution of pro-women ideas in the media that they believe that men don't have we don't have conversations about the problems that we're having. And fortunately, those conversations have statistics to back them up. And that's what it's all about. Do you have something that backs up your argument? I appreciate you, Rico, for coming on, though, but I got to go and get to the next person, brother.
Peace, man.
All righty. Oh, we got Courtney in the building. Women get priority. Ladies first. Let's see what Courtney got to say. Courtney, what you do? You look mad already. What's wrong with what I'm saying? What I did wrong?
Look, it's honestly not even you. It's the men in your comments that I'm not understanding where they're coming from. I'm not.
So what? I mean, well, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. And this isn't to anybody. A lot of folks on this topic are super duper passionate. Now, should they be attacking women or making women feel bad about this and that? No, I don't agree with that. But a lot of it comes out. a lot of people don't understand how to put out the ideas so that people can understand them and try to grasp them. A lot of people just want to make a spectacle of it, and I can't be responsible for everybody in the comments. Now, it is what it is. It's crazy though. It's crazy in there though.
I guess my whole thing is I want to understand where the disconnect is between Black men and Black women. Like it's all over the internet. I keep seeing like these Kevin Samuels, of course, and I just started subscribing to you and looking at your comments, and it's a lot of posts on social media. It seems like there's just like a war between Black men and Black women, and I'm not understanding where the disconnect is. It just seems like there's a bunch of you do this, but it's like, what is the solution? Because we're sitting here talking about it, and a lot of men in your comment section, not talking about you, but the men in your comment section are putting a lot of blame on Black women, but it's like, that nothing is changing. No solution is being had. So I'm trying to.
Well, do you think that the solutions aren't? Do you think that the solutions aren't being heard because they come off as offensive? Because any criticism to women comes off as offensive, especially if it comes to men, especially if it comes from men. Because I'm gonna say it like this: Black men throughout the '90s, especially, all right, and my father was definitely telling me a lot about this. Black men had a lot of criticism in the 90s. All right. Every movie you watch, every major Black movie talks about how Black men ain't this and this and that. But we rarely ever look into what the Black women were doing in that situation. And I talked about an example earlier. I don't know if you heard the monologue, but I talked about Baby Boy. All right. This movie has done well. BET all over the place, right? All Black people know Baby Boy. And we talk about Jody, and we talk about Jody ain't shit, right? He got baby mamas all over the place. He living with his mama, this and this and that. But what was Yvette doing getting pregnant by a man that lives with his mother and rides a bike around the neighborhood? You get where I'm going with it? Like,
with that. I completely agree with that. Yeah.
So all it is, really a lot of it just comes to accountability. Because I just had a woman on, and I brought up the fact of 80% obesity rate in our community, and the first thing she said was it's because of a song by Sir Mix-a-Lot called "Baby Got Back" in the 90s. And the first thing she did was pin that on Black men. Okay. And my argument is simply this: regardless of if you believe that regardless of if you want to be attractive to men or not, it's a health concern. That's the number one killer of Black women in America. It's cardiac arrest, dying of heart disease. Okay. So when I say 80% of Black women are overweight or obese and we need to change this, I don't care if you want to find a man to find you attractive. Just do it for yourself. It's just the truth of the matter. So that comes off as, see, the problem is this: because a lot of our women have adopted the feminist movement, which does not care about you. It's just how it goes. White women got the right to vote way before Black women did. They don't care about y'all. Y'all are disposable. So in there, like on Black Twitter, the people I see putting in all the work and getting all the backlash from it is Black women. Y'all the ones doing all the work for all these white women and all these. They're getting married. Those white women are getting married. And what that feminist movement has done is made it so that any man that has these conversations with y'all are a part of the patriarchy. And that's the problem. So they've nulled our voices.
I think where I get offended is when I hear the generalizations that say that Black women don't take accountability, Black women this, Black women that, and me, myself as a Black woman, and the Black women I know and surround myself with don't fit into that narrative that's being painted by
that's good
what you guys are saying. So that's
great. That's good for y'all.
I'm not understanding, and I get offended when I see these comments because that's not my perspective of Black women.
Well, see, here's the thing about me.
Perspective is inaccurate for the entire whole. But
here's the thing about me, Courtney. I get called all the time broke, dusty, simp, this and this and that. I mean, you'll have somebody saying I'm a bigot and I'm a misogynist, then you'll have somebody saying I'm a simp. I don't get which one it is, but I'm married to a Black woman. I'm 25 years old. I'm married to a Black woman. My high school sweetheart. I've been dating her since I was 15 years old. Okay, so I've done everything right too. And regardless of that, people are going to look at you from the greater scale. And that's why we have to change these numbers. All right, so it's just too much disconnect. And the fact that we're not working together is what's killing us all individually, regardless. So, and I said this statistic before, you got 43%. And you probably was in when I said this. 43% of Black men want to be in relationships, while only 23% of Black women want to be in relationships. Isn't that?
I
But
cannot believe that.
78%
What
of
source
black.
did you get that from?
I'll look at national poll. I'll put it in the description. I'm sorry, I probably wouldn't be able to do it now, but it's a national poll review or something like that. I'll put it in the description for you to read. I promise I got you. I'm not bullshitting this stuff. I don't do that with my statistics, but I got you though. It was a poll that was done in
So you're
2020.
saying only 23% of black women. You said only 23% of black women want to
Black
be in relationships. So
want to be in relationships.
most of us want to be single. And
Yeah, well, I don't believe that that's true. I believe that most women want to live in this glorifying phase of being single and getting a bag and manipulating men, and this is where a lot of people are stuck. So when asked that question, they may say no because they don't want to go out and actively look for a man because they're afraid of not being enough. All right, they're afraid of not or feeling like they're not enough. And there are plenty of black men that are happy to accept you, but the problem is you get black women that have been given this false narrative of themselves that makes them think that they're more than they actually are. And I'm not trying to downplay any women, but all women are not 10s. We just can't do that. But if you believe that, that makes you go for a man that's a 10. And when you go for a man that's a 10, he's less likely to commit to you, especially if you're not as attractive to him. It's just how nature works. So it's a lot of facts that go into a lot of situations that go into a major problem. This is a multivariate problem. So yeah, but I'm happy you're not being a part of that problem though. So I salute to you for that.
and see, so you're saying that black women want to date higher, but we don't. You're basically like Kevin Samuel saying we don't qualify to date higher. That's
I
what
wouldn't
you're
even
saying?
say. Well, I mean, just off the rating scale, just off looks alone. I can't. Let me use this example. I have a friend. I don't know if you've ever seen my lives before with him. 6'4" dude. He looks just like August Alsina. I keep hearing the comment. They keep telling me to bring him back. I'll probably have him back on. 6'4", super attractive dude. But the women that are coming up to him and actually giving him a chance, like actually trying to shoot their shot, I'm like, are we? I get it. You want to be ambitious. I get it. Right. But let's just be completely honest. If somebody doesn't like, and men are very visual creatures. If they don't like the way you look, they're less likely to commit to you. It's just a harsh reality. Men aren't allowed to say that, but it's the truth of the matter. It's just, I mean, that offends a lot of people, especially women, but it's just the truth. Just like how women don't like men that are broke and women don't like men that are short. It's just how it works. So I would say
So
there's nothing wrong with.
besides the look category.
Well, I mean, the average height for a black man is 5'9". How many black women do you hear say they want a man over 6 feet tall? So you've already limited your dating pool. Now you want a man that makes over $100,000
and taller than me. Like,
yeah, that's good. Then that means you have a better standard for a more realistic standard for finding a mate. But if you look at other women that are talking about, I want a man to make 6 figures. I mean, how many black men make 6 figures?
What if I make 6 figures? Should I not?
But see, that's where women get it lost, because women assume that a man that makes 6 figures want a woman that makes 6 figures. They believe that when they have the money, the opportunity will come, and it's simply not true. What happens is women want men that make 6 figures or over now, right? But men that make 6 figures or over don't care about how much you make because they have the money already. They have the money, so they don't care about the money. So they want women that are coachable, women that are inspirational, women that look out for the men, women that take care of the household. That's what they want. So if you're too busy going off to work, just like he is, how are you able to do those things? You know what I mean? So it's a lot that ties into it. You know what I mean? And truth be told, I don't know how many women actually want these men that they say that they want in terms of these quote unquote high value men making all this money, because that means he's working 40, 60 hours or 60 to 80 hours a week. He doesn't have time to hang out with you. All right. So the women that need these kind of men are a very select few hypergamous women that are okay with just accepting gifts and okay with being cheated on, generally speaking. Not all the time, but generally speaking. All right. So, everybody's stuck on how Sweetie got the Birkin bag, but they don't know how she got it. You know what I mean? They don't know the things she had to get through, all the cheating, all the lie. But that's something she stuck through because that's something she wants. I don't think that most women are going to be able to handle that lifestyle. So, unfortunately, the more money you make as a woman, the smaller your dating pool is.
From the perspective of me as a black woman who I consider myself a successful and educated black woman who is searching for a black man who is also educated and successful, I feel like my dating pool is very narrow. But you're saying that black men are more successful than black women. Where are they? me and my other Black female friends do not see them. So I'm just trying to understand where are they?
Well, I mean, it depends on where you're hanging out.
And the ones who don't have kids and
see, now we get narrow. Like, where's this? You're talking about a unicorn. All right, you're talking about a man it's going to be hard to find.
why
it
is
just
that
is
a
what
unicorn?
it is.
But
Well,
why is that a unicorn though?
because you're asking for a man that wants to date you that makes over 100,000. How many? Okay, it's just, and I mean, this is where it gets offensive. But how many men actually want to date you in the first place? But then now you got to narrow it down to how many men over 100 makes $100,000 or more wants to date you. And simply, the men who make that much money have access to too many women. The women that they have the access to date look different. They look a certain way. They're a certain kind of woman. Okay, and I mean that's okay. There's nothing wrong. I'm trying to tell you, there's nothing wrong with dating a hard-working person. There's just nothing wrong with it. But there are more black men in the upper class than there are black women. That's 100% true. But this is what happens. Black women go and they get degrees and they become professional, which 70% of women who are professional are single. Okay, they end up single, and when you hit the age of 35, your chances of getting married decreases to 30%. So you go out and get these jobs, and then you look back at the men. The majority of your dating pool are working class men. Majority, now not all of them, more in the upper class than black women, but the majority of the dating pool that you're going to have access to are workers. And like you said, you don't want a worker, so that's what happens. So there's this disconnect there. People
I'm
get
not saying
degrees
I
and then they
don't
look
want a
down on people
worker,
that work
but
hard.
no, I don't look down on people that work hard. But I mean, when you are accustomed to a way of living and you would want somebody who matches that, right? Like that just kind of makes sense to me. But
That's a women's thing. Men don't feel that way. We date quote unquote down all the time. Men don't want a person that's equal to them in how much money they make in the lifestyle that they live. There could be a man that's a millionaire, see a beautiful woman at McDonald's, he'll go and pick her up. This is how it works for men. We care more about looks. We care more about femininity. We care more about nurturing qualities, just in general. So I mean, we're in a tough spot here, Courtney. I get where you're going, and I do feel like I hope the best for you in finding a man. But the chances with the pool, you in a tough spot because every woman wants the $200,000 a year man. So you ain't only competing against other women that make $100,000. You competing against every woman. It's just how it works. I'm only 5'7", right? 5'7", 5'8". Tough. You feel me? You got to have a podcast with over 50,000 subscribers as of yesterday. Appreciate y'all for all the love. It's just how the game works. It's just how the game go. Everybody got advantages and disadvantages. But I appreciate you for coming on, Courtney. We got Mary up next. Mary up in the... Let me go ahead though, Courtney. Let me go and get Mary on. Appreciate you though. All right, Mary, you ready?
Yeah. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. I'm calling it. I'm in and out, so let me know if I may have missed some things. But if I'm not mistaken, your topic was about women and being held accountable for their actions, right? And the choices that they make when they're dating. So right. I heard you mention a statistic. You said 78% of Black females are single mothers, right?
No, 78% of Black babies are born out of wedlock.
Okay, so
I believe the percentage of single mothers is 41%.
Okay, so I didn't come to necessarily disagree. What I came to say was I believe that men giving women advisory on accountability is not going to get digested, right?
Why do you assume that?
I think that when they're hearing it from a male, it sounds like it's misogynistic or what's the word, patriarchal or whatever the word you want to use.
That's because you've digested. That's because you've digested the feminist movement and everything that a man tells you is not good.
Exactly. But I think that it would be best if women who have made these poor decisions to speak to women and be honest, 100% honest with other women. A lot of the women, I'm a single mother, or I was a single mother, but a lot of women don't tell other women the truth about what comes with being, what comes with being a single mother. I agree with you more. And what comes with, what are the lifelong consequences with being a single mother, So I think that men telling this to women, it's going to go in one ear and out the other. It should really be the majority of women in our race that are single mothers
I agree
talking
with
to
you.
these women.
I agree with you, but unfortunately, in our culture, this behavior is seen as a good thing. I can't even tell you the number of articles I've seen on CNBC and all these other on Forbes talking about the improvement of black single mothers and giving black single mothers all this clout and making it seem like this is cool to do. This is not a good thing to do, and I'm happy you came on here and talked about it. But I do have to tell you this. And you guys can look up the clinical studies on behavior between men and women. But the truth is this. Women, and it is seen as a feminine trait. I explained this in another show, but I'm going to explain it a little bit more in depth now. Yeah. Women have a trait called agreeableness. Now, agreeableness makes it great for you to live socially because women are social beings. Women exhibit a lot more social behavior than men. So because they need social structure to survive in society, women have grown to be very agreeable. One of the traits so it makes you good with teams. It makes you really good with teams. And if you look at the number of patents that have been put out, 95% of the patents were put by men, but the 5%, the remaining 5%, 3% or 4% of that was put out by women in teams. Only 1% were put out by single women. Another example, women all the time when they go to the gym, what do they need? A gym buddy. Women like to work in teams. Women like social structure. But another trait of agreeableness and a negative trait is that you're more likely, you're less likely to engage in conflict. Okay, you're less likely to engage in conflict. So that means you're less likely to tell your friends when they have a problem, because what that does is it creates too much animosity and too much conflict. And women, generally speaking, especially if they're feminine enough, avoid that kind of physical conflict or what it could lead to. So it's just, you can look up the clinical studies. I'm not bullshitting this. I may put all of this stuff in the description for people that want to see it, but it's already in depth. And the clinical studies are basically studies done by hospitals and doctors to get things approved in terms of medications. So these are some of the best studies a lot of the times in America. So when you ask for women to hold women accountable, generally speaking, the more feminine women won't do that because it creates conflict. So that's just how it works. I mean,
and there's a woman, I think she's called Naturally Fashionable or whatever her name is. She holds other women accountable and she gets constantly dragged. And I just think that I guess we're going to be kind of stagnant because until other women can talk to other women honestly and hold other women accountable, then there won't be much change, or the change will be very slow. Because I've had instances where I'm around a lot of other younger females because I'm in the military, and I talk to them all the time. They don't have kids. They are like in their prime. They're single. They got everything going for them, and they want to have a child. They're like, oh, I want to go and have a kid. And I'm like, well, what about marriage first? Yeah. Or what about dating?
I'm so happy you're saying these things.
Yeah, what about those things first? And they're like, oh, well, it doesn't have to be done that way. And I'm like, it does have to be done that way.
And that's another point I wanted to make. And this is a lot of the disconnect. And somebody just said, why are you obsessed with black women? Well, I was raised by them. I want black communities to practice group economics to bring ourselves up so we don't have to complain about police killings because we pay our police officers. We own our own schools. We don't have to worry about the education being poor because we own our own school. This is why I'm married to a black woman. These are the reasons why I care about black women. Yeah. But another point is this, and this is a point that actually my wife made. That's her right there. She said that in order to have a relationship, you have to be willing to listen to a man. You know what I mean? If you want a man to lead, you have to be willing to listen to him. That's just how it works. And there are a lot of tough situations in relationships that you got to be willing to get through. But you're going to need somebody that's emotional, and you're going to need somebody that's able to be the rock in that relationship, to lead that relationship to where it needs to be. It's just that simple. I mean, and I agree, some men are too emotional. And they get into these emotional spills where they're allowing the women to pull them into these emotional tyrants, and they get too aggressive and this and that. And I don't think that men should be that way. I think men should be stoic. And when I say stoic, I mean not void of emotion, but reluctant to indulge in emotion, especially when handling difficult situations. But yeah, I appreciate you, Mary, for coming on. Let me go ahead and get somebody else up in here, Mary.
All right.
These are great things. These are great conversations, y'all. And here's the thing. This is what a lot of people got to listen to. Well, a lot of people got to understand. This isn't just an American or a black people problem. This is an American problem now. Like, this is going to become out of hand. We are just arrowheading the thing because of certain situations led us to be the first ones into these situations. But white women are following this. Asian women are following these trends. It's not looking great for America right now. When you have weak men, you have a weak nation. That's just how it works. I'm sorry. When you have men that don't want to step up to the plate, you have a weak nation. That's how it works. It's just that simple. I mean, but let's see if we can get somebody else in here. Kevin Samuels defense. Oh, you got lasers on your eyes and stuff. I ain't getting you. Come on now. Let's see. Coach K, Zone 6. What's going on, Coach?
Yo, what's up, man? Sound check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, what's up, man? Good to be on your show. First off, I kind of disagree with holding women accountable. Due to the fact that men, us collectively as black men, we don't have no power. We still haven't corrected the situation from slavery. So how you gonna gain respect?
I got you, Coach. I ain't trying to go down the slavery rabbit hole. I got you.
We're gonna go down there. I've been trying to get to you because I take that debate. I'm your Huckleberry. So I hear a lot of people the Kevin Samuels thing. You know, that's a waste of time because he's been on Earth 50 years and he hasn't contributed anything before me and you got here. So but
here's the thing, Coach. Regardless of what has happened before, we're talking about a current situation. Okay, and I understand that the trauma or whatever you want to say may affect this and this and that, but at the end of the day, 80% of women are obese right now.
Man. Hold on, poor man. Hold on, relax. You're not
no. Hold up, Coach. Come on now, Coach. I can't. I'm trying to be good with you now. I can't have you talk over me. The thing that matters is this. The thing that only matters is this. Where we are right now. Okay, we can talk about the past and this and that, but where we are right now matters. Right now, we have since the 60s, 36% of black men have been going into the middle class. 56% in the middle class right now. Okay, that has increased since the 60s by 36%.
Okay.
In the middle class. So black men are doing better. Since 2006 to 2018, the rate of incarceration for black men has decreased by 36%. I'm sorry. The fastest population in America, and violent crime has decreased by 51%. How are black men not doing better?
You gotta let me cook. First of all, we gotta address that. You can't just gloss over that and give me a whole bunch of stats when we don't hold the power. Y'all talking about money. We don't control the currency. We don't control the laws. The laws that you're talking about with women getting when a divorce happens, who enforces those laws? The enemy. You know who hold the power here.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, Coach. I got to go and get you up out of there.
I know you do. I know.
I mean, it ain't. Here's the thing. It ain't really about.
Yeah.
It doesn't. The power doesn't matter because before the 60s, before all this stuff started to shift, black men and black women were jumping the broom. We were getting married. We had unity.
Black men have not been held accountable because we refuse to fight and stand up and tackle the true enemy. You could gloss over slavery all you want, but how can you expect black women?
Coach, you got to get muted, dog. I'm sorry, dog. Here's the thing. Yeah, I'm sorry. You have to. You got to listen to this, brother. Like, we were jumping the broom. We had unity. There were black Wall Streets all over the place. They got tore down. All right. And we kept building. We went to scratch and then we built back up. Now we have 50s. What'd you say?
Who tore them down?
The white community did, in large.
So black women is not the enemy, bro.
But here, Coach, listen to me. I get where you're going with this situation, right? You're talking about white supremacy, this and that. What I'm saying to you is we've always been knocked down and built back up. What we have to do is not be down now. We can't let it go down and stay down. The reason why you burn a Black Wall Street is so that people can go down and feel helpless. You can't feel that way. You have to always progress to being better. It's that simple. So I can't sit and talk about what's been going on and what happened in the past, this and that. When we are doing better now, actively as black men, now we need our women to listen to us and get on code so we can keep building these Black Wall Streets.
That's false. That's false. We have no power. You can't be an alpha male and you don't have power.
Coach, how do you build power? You build power through economics. You can't have economics if you
Yeah,
don't
you
have
build
black
it through
people
military.
together.
You build it through being able to feed your society and through military strength. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
How do you get guns? How do you afford guns?
Through building, feeding your people. That's the first thing
Economics.
you do. You come together as a society and you feed yourself. That
Bingo. You come together as a society. Coach, you come together as a society. You have to come together. We have no unity right now. There's not enough black couples. All right. Like I said, 23% of black women want to be in relationships. 43% of black men want to be in relationships. We have no unity. Okay. 70% out of wedlock rate. We cannot build a quote unquote military to gain quote unquote power if we don't have economics. Is that simple? To fund a military, you have to have money. Is that simple? I'm sorry, brother. Like I can't go down the rabbit hole of we can never be better than where we are, because I'm actively being better than where I was, and I expect other brothers to step up to that plate too. I don't care about how sad you are about what's been going on, whatever. But let's get back to it. Who next? Anybody that's talking about race, you up out of there. All right, I get it. People are in trouble. It's been tough, but we have to build now. We have to do better now. So if you're talking about what's been going on before, while we were still jumping the broom and had the highest marriage rates in America, while all that tragedy was going on, we got knocked down. We built it back up. Got knocked down. Built it back up. That's what we've been doing, and that's what we have to continue to do. If you stay down, this white supremacy will hold you down. Okay. Historically speaking, it has been bad for us. There has been communities that have gotten together, practiced group economics, and have submerged us, have drowned us out. I get it. But now we're doing better, and we're going to continue to do better. And those atrocities are less likely to happen, so we have to continue to build now. That's where I stand. So let's get Nobody Special up here. What's up, Nobody? You've been in here for a little minute, bro.
I was aiming for your head.
Nobody, you good?
Yo!
I almost had to get you up out of there for a second.
I'm here to help my boy out. Hey, first and foremost, I love the podcast. Been watching it for a few months. I love everything you're doing. The energy. What I can really say is that a lot of people who are complaining about the stats, the statistic, things of that nature, hey, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
They don't.
At all. Zero nada. I see a lot of people coming there and they want to do the white supremacy and everything else. Look, when you focus on you have a goal, you out there actually building something for yourself. You Stevie Wonder to that. It's no point of
I don't care. I was on track. I got a bronze medal at the Pan American Games for rugby. I came from track to rugby. I had 3 months to learn the game. In 3 months, I got on the USA national team. When I was about to go, the day before I signed my 2 days after I signed my professional contract, I had a back injury that put me out I couldn't walk for 3 months, and I had pain for the next 12 months. So I understand there's hardship. Everybody has their individual hardship and group hardship, but you got to fight through it. That's the only way you can keep going. I'm not finna listen to nobody tell me I can't do better. That's dead. I don't care about none of that.
And also too, for the young lady who was on there, I want to say she was like 2 calls ago. And you know what I'm saying? You were correct. Guys who are out here really building something for themselves. Me, I'm an entrepreneur on a landscape and a home improvement service.
Good for you. That's good.
60 hours a week. You are bound to, how can I put this, not always be there. And then she made the statement of, she want to get someone on her level, education, degrees and everything else. Not all men took that route, but yet again, we're still on your level.
Right.
Not to bring up KS, but I understand what it is to be a Henry. You're working hard for that goal. So, and like you said, where are you meeting these guys at? You can't meet them on a Tuesday at the margarita place getting drunk. Who you think you're gonna meet there?
You can't do it.
If you're really going to be a part of the community, there are charity events, there are football teams, basketball teams, things like that, where you can actually meet people who are actually working instead of you just falling for somebody who look good.
Yeah.
Somebody who got that drip and that sauce.
I agree with you, brother.
But
let me go ahead, though, brother. I appreciate you for coming on, man. I really do.
Man, that's all I wanted to say, man.
Yes, sir.
Keep doing what you do. I'm always for the HBO, man. Hey,
yes, sir. Got to get to it. 50K, y'all. We have 50K subscribers now, man. This is a blessing. I'm happy people are picking up what I'm putting down and understanding the message. All right. I'm not. We have a lot of the same talking points, but I'm not Kevin Samuels. Okay. He has a lot of entertainment value in his show, and I get it, and I like it. I enjoy it. I can watch it. It's watchable. I enjoy his platform. I enjoy the route he took, okay, because he's put this out into the mainstream so that we can have these important conversations. But these are exactly that, important conversations, and usually the conversations that are worth having are the hardest ones. Okay, so these are the best conversations to be having. All right, y'all. Like we can sit here and talk about what LeBron did and what happened on the Breakfast Club and this and this and that. But how are we gonna have men like the last man that was just on and the man that was on earlier that's building their own their self up so that they can and then build their children up or get a wife and then have her children or have children being built up. Okay, so that's what we're focused on now. We're done. We're done with the whole, we're slaves, we're sad, and we're crying. We're done with that. We're going to the future now. It's 2021, baby. Welcome to the future. We investing in cryptocurrencies now. We Dogecoin to the moon, XRP to the moon, Ethereum to the moon. Get into it if you don't know about it. Chris, let's see what Chris talking about.
Hey,
what's up, Chris?
Nothing much. All right, so I got some talking points. Yeah, because I got kids, but because. Okay, so I did start watching Kevin Samuels a while ago. All right, and after a while, I kind of got bored of the talking points. So I'm gonna be honest, because he does talk about the same stuff over and over again, and it does help in a sense. It does help the Manosphere because he is talking to women that are delusional. They don't make sense. Some of the stuff they're talking about,
and you know today. You know what's crazy, Chris?
Right.
There's a lot of people be like, why is he doing this and this and that? He hates black women, this and this and that. But these women knowing what he does, and if a lot of women believe that he hates women, why are they coming on to his show? He's not forcing people to come on the show.
That's the thing.
This says more about the people that are willing to do whatever it takes to get famous or get 15 minutes of fame than it does about a man that's actually trying to build a flat platform talking about important topics.
Especially if you look at them when they go on there, you got your hair done, your nails done. You one girl, she's sitting in one of them old Black Panther gone chairs and she got champagne on her. You going on there for the wrong reasons. And you trying to get famous. That's all it is. And it's stupid. However, there are some stuff that I do have disagreements with, like his cost of a family. No, those are ridiculous numbers. A cost of a 5-person family, depending on where you live, especially you live in Houston, right? Because you talk about Houston a lot. I always hear,
I don't even know his talking points on that. I really.
He says
Kevin Samuels, his name in the title just builds the viewership so that we can have these conversations. Yeah, what I really talk about is Black Manosphere points. When he talks about
the Manosphere points, all right, I guess it would just depends. A lot of people that the one thing I like to promote, because I am going to promote this, every black person, every black man in here, you should have read The Man Not. If you have not read The Man Not, you're already behind in the Manosphere, because you need to know where you need to know where a lot of especially for black men, you need to know a lot where a lot of these problems came from, where it started from. And it started from with the beginning of feminism, with feminism push.
Yeah, a lot of it started there. A lot of people don't want to talk about that, man. But we was one of the highest ranking in terms of being married. We was one of the highest rankers at that time. And then as soon as that feminist movement came, and there was something called welfare.
Right.
Welfare started kicking in. People saying that it was more beneficial to have the government in your life than a man.
I remember the inspections. Where they used to come in the house and check and see if the man was there. I remember
it happened to a person I know. Her husband went to prison. He had two kids. He went to prison for a very, it's just what it is. But it wasn't a big charge. It wasn't nothing crazy. I think it was a gun charge. Okay, it happens, right? But he gets out and he wants to be with his wife and kids. Turns out they come and they say he can't be with them. So thankfully, since she was smart enough, she knew to leave that housing complex and go live with her husband, and they're doing well now. So I'm happy she made that decision. But in a lot of cases, people don't make that decision.
No,
they just want the benefits because they feel like they got to be an independent woman. It's all about being independent, quote unquote.
It's too easy for them. It's too easy for them because that's what they promote. And yeah, that's what they don't understand is that a lot of the stuff that the Manosphere is talking about, I understand they're getting on black women because there has been no accountability for them. They have been getting pushed out. I mean, you think about it, right? Look at when George Floyd died. How many black folks do you see they talk to besides his homeboy? Stack 5, Mr. Jackson. Only person they talk to, that's all I talk to. After that, I saw a bunch of women come on. How do you talk about only black women when you see the highest number is what? Black men are dying. You're not talking to them. You're not solving that problem.
They don't care. Well, the main message that's been promoted is that we need to embrace that. Well, see, here's the problem. There's a narrative that black women are leading our community, and it's simply not true. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the people who make more, if you look at the people who are, I won't say most active because black women are a little more active in the community than black men due to the church, and they have the time to because most black men are in the working class. But if you're looking at coming into the 30% increase from the 60s to now, or 38% increase from the 60s to now, being in the middle class, 56%, 57% of black men are in the middle class, and that's just the middle class. That doesn't include the upper class, which I believe is another 5 or 6%. So there are no excuses to not go out and find a good man that can provide for you nowadays. 23% of black women want to be in relationships. 43% of black men want to be in relationships, according to a poll from 2020. Okay, so
50% single.
We got 50% of African American men being single with no children. So it's just
ridiculous because that's higher than any other race out there. Well, unless you count. Well, you talking America, yeah. See, if you talk about America, yes.
About that stat, you have to be a little careful because that stat includes men from, I believe, the age of 15 to, I believe there's a certain cutoff age. So you got to be a little careful with that one. And by the age of 40, about 80% of black men have children. So we're not procreating. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of that stuff is happening later on in life for us. You know what I mean? And that's because a lot of women start to get to the age of 35 and they go, I'm not going to get that NBA player I thought I was going to get.
Let me settle down. Nope.
That's how it works, man. We fighting a good fight, though. We got to keep having these conversations. I appreciate you, Chris, for coming on. I'm going to get somebody else on.
All right, then.
All right, y'all. This is the link, man. I didn't had so many people on the chat talking crazy. Yeah. Oh, well, here's the thing. I ain't going to go into the stealing money part. Y'all crazy. All right. No, I get it. She was buying houses. She's living great right now. But, yeah. Black women lead protests, which is good. Don't get me wrong. But we need to get together so we can build economics. That's the most important thing. I'm going to put this link into the chat. This is important for every single race, okay? Because we are arrowheading this trend. White women, Asian women, all are more separate now than ever. They're more likely to get pregnant out of wedlock than ever or have a baby out of wedlock than ever. So if you ain't engaged in these conversations and you from a different race, you in trouble because it's going that direction, baby. It's going that direction. You got All My Single Ladies by Beyonce out. You got I Don't Want No Scrubs, all these songs, this and that. It's leading to a lot of craziness. The honest truth, man. I tried to get him on the show. That's what it was. Today was going to be a debate between me and Honest Truth. I wish he would have came on. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it happen. Look, y'all know me. Y'all know I'm coming every time, 10 out of 10. But we couldn't make it happen. No whims to him. I do believe that people should continue to have these conversations, though. These conversations need to be had amongst people who disagree because we could put out those facts and statistics. But the thing is, a lot of people want to sit on these platforms and they want to be comfortable. Okay, I'm open for these discussions. I'm okay with being wrong and looking crazy in front of everybody. I don't care about that because I believe that's the only way to get better. All right, so I'm willing to go out and put my facts and put everything out there. And if someone provides me a good argument, I'm willing to even change my opinion based on the facts that are stated. Okay, if you're willing to put on a good argument, I've yet to hear it. A lot of the times when I go to that side, it's so okay. I'll break it down for you. All right, and for people that have heard it, stay tuned. Just bear with me. But they'll say black women are the backbone of the community because they're the ones building the businesses. Well, I mean, 95% of black businesses are sole proprietor businesses, meaning that only one person runs the business. Okay, 95%. Do you know the average income for a sole proprietor business? It's $12K. $12K a year. 60% of sole proprietor businesses fail in the first year, according to Forbes. All right, so on paper, it looks good, like, oh, you're building all these businesses, but that's not what we need, okay? We need community, okay? We need black men and black women to come together to build group economics, okay? Group economics, and I'm not talking about no race. I don't give a shit, We in 2021. I don't give a shit about no race. All right, we moving on to the future. We in the future. What's up, Tyler? What's going on, man?
How you doing?
You got a disagreement? You disagree with something? You got a debating?
Well, I have mainly a question, if it's okay.
Okay, what's going on?
Basically, okay, so a lot of people talk about like, okay, so like for the black community to get better, black men need to marry black women, and we need to actually start a bond of marriage, then have kids, right?
Right.
Well, how is that going to be possible if the women are the one filing for divorces? Because I mean, all day I can, or a lot of black men can go and marry all these women before we have children, or have children and then marry them after. But regardless of anything, we're still going to be getting divorced. All of our resources and things that we brought, like a value that we brought to the relationship, would end up being
I get where you're going. But Tyler, the reason why I say this is because I believe that marriage is for children, in terms of it's for the benefit of the children mostly. And in terms of a lot of the laws in there, it's for the benefit of the children. Now, it has been misconstrued and made it so that a lot of women have incentive and do take advantage of men in that case. But you have to protect your heir to the throne. It's that simple. Okay, so if you want to get a prenup or have something in place so that y'all have some kind of agreement so that the government or the court system doesn't completely pull your pants down, if you get what I'm saying, that's good. I suggest you do that if the woman that you're with wasn't with you when you were shooting in the gym, if you get where I'm going. All right, so have prenuptial agreements, because yes, the court system right now is not for men. So I do agree that there is some caution that needs to be taken, and statistically speaking, it's not going to last. But as long as it lasts for long enough for your children to be okay, that should be all that matters, because that's what's going to come from that's what's going to get all of the that's where you're going to get most of the fulfillment.
Yeah, like, and even if let's say okay, even if it's for the children, well, the children are not going to benefit from the society if the man is not there, and the man is not, I guess, in a good mental state or a good financial state, because it is the man that leads the community. So if the man that leads the community, and marriage usually ends by the woman, and then usually the man is the one that ends up with a mental health issue, or ends up living back home with his parents, or ends up something happening, then how is marriage at all good for the black community? Now, I understand, like, I agree with the foundation of being, whole. That's why I'm not gonna get married, but I'm gonna get, like, when I find a woman, I'm gonna get spiritually married.
Tyler, when you look at the top 10 richest men in the world, how many of them were married on their come up?
Probably all of them.
It's that simple. Other communities practice group economics through marriage. It is a contract. Is it good for men now if you don't have a prenuptial agreement? No, but it doesn't mean. But all the richest men in the world are practicing that because they understand that it has not only just benefits off the rip from having two incomes in the home, so now you have more money to invest into the future, but you also just have tons of tax benefits, tax breaks, all kinds of stuff, man. I'm trying to tell you, people, and I wanted to have Anton Daniels, man. If anybody is listening, go subscribe to Anton Daniels. He is a black man. He is married to a black woman. He is a millionaire. So he is not no BSer. He was a millionaire before he made YouTube. So he knows, and he's a millionaire in the slow game. He knows a lot about the law and a lot about the benefits in terms of tax when it comes to men and women being married. Go, and this is a shout out to him, bro. I really, really want you to go and check him out. Maybe I'll have him on the show one of these days. But I appreciate you, Tyler. Let me go ahead and get somebody else up in here, brother.
All right.
All right, y'all. Questions and concerns. Now, I want to debate. Anybody got a debate? I'm trying to debate. I'm up for it today. Because the thing is, I'm making 15-minute videos. So a lot of these topics I can't go into depth with. I'm just trying to get something out there. But in these lives, this is where you could come in, and if you need more clarity or you need me to back something up with more statistics or whatever you may need, man, this is the right time to do it. And this is what I'm here for. All right, because y'all know I don't do these all the time. So if y'all got any debates, anybody got a debate, anybody with their mic on that got a debate, if y'all raise y'all hand, I'm willing to get y'all that got a debate. Okay. Now y'all ain't talking about races, y'all. All right, Lamarck, you up. I like how engaged you is. What's up with you, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, I go by Lamar, but I enjoy the type of stuff that you guys do for the culture. And I'm not Black American per se. I'm from the island. I'm Haitian, and my thing is that um, although I do think like the manosphere and the Black manosphere is necessary, when I do watch like Kevin Simon show and other like Fresh and Fit and the other people that are like on the forefront of the movement, I do feel like we kind of reach like a point of diminishing return. Like it's like kind of like the message kind of trying to kind of get lost, and people use some of these things to kind of um, demean the movement, saying that we're bashing women or
Well, Lamarck, I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. Some of the people understand. Some of the people that make this content understand that the vast majority are people that want to just hear where women are wrong. There are a lot of women. See, the thing is, there's two types of red pill people. One type of red pill person is a person that has learned red pill through watching and kind of analyzing what's going on. See, me, I was an athlete. I was a Division I athlete on a full scholarship for track and field, and after that, I was a professional athlete with the USA national team. So I seen a lot of these things happen. Okay, and that's when the questions arise, and that's how I kind of started to think red pill and had the discussions. And then I found out there's a whole thing on it on YouTube, right? So that's when I got on. But then there's a second kind of person that gets into red pill content because they want answers for why they were hurt. Okay. And these are a lot of the people that are angry. They call it red pill rage. And some channels kind of pander to these people. And I do want to start holding these channels accountable because we have to do better as men. Okay. Because the reason why a lot of these things are going on is because men could do better at stepping up. We are doing better, but we can always be better. You know where I'm going? Like, we're making progress. We could always be better. So we do need to continue to preach that message to men. And what I like to do on my channel is I like to say she did this because women naturally do these things. And if you're a weak person, you're an agreeable person, women will take advantage of that. That's how women display aggression. They manipulate people. Okay. So when people come on and they hear me say that, I also say, but that's your fault because you allowed yourself to be manipulated and you have to be better. Okay. And I explain things but I try to make people better. Some channels don't do that. Some channels just want to cater to men and make them feel, and there's a lot of money in it. Don't get me wrong. If I was on here and I just wanted to make videos every day, I could make a lot of money off just saying how Black women are this and that, and women in general are this and that, and they're all bad, and you ain't doing nothing bad. But I can't do that because there's a lot of men, and I see them all the time, that are homosexuals. They just want to live off of women, and those men don't deserve a feminine woman. They don't deserve a feminine woman. They don't.
I do understand. My thing is this, because that's one of the reasons I watch you and Kevin and O'Shea with Jackson, only because
big fan of O'Shea. Shout out to O'Shea.
Because the thing is, like, a lot of people are trying to overcomplicate Kevin's message. It's just very simple, fit, feminine, and beautiful. That's it. It is a simple thing. And then the one thing coming like from outside perspective, I always want to do YouTube, but the thing is, as a man and as a Black man in America, like, people always go against you whenever you are direct, whenever you have standard. I'm in the healthcare I'm in the healthcare field, and during COVID, I see so many Black women die alone. And it saddened me. They are like the typical, like, the thing is, like, people always say, oh, why do you always have stereotype in this? But the thing is, if you fit that stereotype and you celebrate the stereotype, you cannot.
I agree. A lot of stereotypes,
man.
Man.
The last person I took care of was like 55 years old, and she died by herself.
Right.
And it saddened me as an immigrant that came to the country. But one more thing I want to ask you is that, are you from the state?
Yeah. I was born here, bro. Okay. Born right in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Like, they always ask me that question. I could never identify with the Black movement because where I come from is we all poor. We all Black. There's colorism, but there's not. We experience racism, but we know that we're all in this together, right? And when I came to this country, the women that I saw are very promiscuous. I never dated anyone from the state until I was ready to get married and I have 2 children. But you have to worry about your image as a community.
Yes, that's something we don't care about. We don't cherish that.
When you say twerking, the first thing you associate is black women. You know, the raptor claws, the wheeze, and the overweight and everything, and it's kind of sad that these are the image. But I've seen some good sisters, some fit sisters.
It's a lot of good sisters out there. It's a lot of good sisters, man. It's a lot, but see, sometimes they fall prey. They fall prey, and this is why I say you have to hold women accountable. You have to display what's going on, because if you fall prey to a man because you was looking at his shoes, it don't matter how good you are if you're pregnant now, because what you've done is made a $250,000 investment that you can't afford. It takes $250,000 on average to raise a child from 0 to 18 in America. So that's like saying I'm broke, but I'm gonna go out and buy a Lamborghini. You know what I mean? So this is what we have to warn those good women that you're talking about, and nobody is talking about these situations. Outside of the Manosphere, nobody is warning young women that are coming up saying, hey, you do have options. You do have birth control. You do have condoms. You do have Plan B. So why are you getting pregnant by bums? Nobody's having these conversations, and that's why good girls, like you said, get taken advantage of. But I appreciate you, bro. Let me go ahead and get on to the next caller, man.
All right, thank you.
All righty. And this is why I don't like to have the discussion. I've been on for 2 hours. God, I'm real passionate about these topics, but this is why I don't accept the narrative that black men and women can't do better because of slavery or some kind of white supremacy. This is why I don't accept that narrative, because everybody has good and bad. And if you're in the most prosperous country in the world, which is what America is, I understand it's harder for some people to be prosperous than it is others, but you have air conditioner. I went to Kenya for a month. It's hard to get air conditioner. You have Wi-Fi everywhere you go. You have iPhones. Okay. Do you want to know where it's hard to get by? Where your iPhone is made, by Foxconn. Do you know what Foxconn is? It's a factory in China where iPhones are manufactured. There are children working at these places for pennies an hour. And they have nets so that if they can't even handle it enough, if they can't handle the stress, they try to dive out of the window and kill themselves. They have safety nets. Okay. So imagine your lunch break after you tried to kill yourself because you can't handle the stress of work and you're getting paid pennies on the dollar. That's why I can't sit here and have the whole we're in a tough spot. I get it. We are, but we got to do better. We have been doing better. Hopefully we continue to do better. All right, y'all. I think this is going to be a night for me. This has been a good one. I may do this more. Appreciate y'all for the 50K. Appreciate everybody that gave me the HBO special, man. Anybody that's donating to the channel, this is how we do things. This is how we keep the ball rolling. I really appreciate y'all, man. And I'm not even saying this just to be, just being that, just trying to make you feel good. I really do appreciate y'all for wanting to sit down and have these tough conversations. Any women that come in the chat and want to sit down and have men talk to them about their problems and what's wrong with them, that's tough to do for anybody. It's tough to do for a lot of men too. A lot of men don't want to take accountability. So for some women to even be brave enough to come on into the shark tank, because that's what it is. They know a lot of men are going to be against them. They come here and they still want to have conversations and they're willing to listen to it. I really do appreciate that too, because these conversations, the hard conversations, are always the ones that are worth having. So I appreciate y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get off. Make sure y'all get them likes up. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. My boy Anton Daniels, he puts out great content if you want to know anything about the group economics of marriage. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, man.